Hey, welcome back to Grit Gym. Today we're talking mindset and how to get excited for the thing that you set out to accomplish in the beginning. Because this is something that gets into a lot of people's way. Because we're excited at the beginning, and then we call it motivation, and we're all fired up and we're ready to go, and we're going to do this thing, and then you get into the doldrums of the day-to-day minutia and all the action that you have to take, and it's almost like, man, how do I keep this going? Like when you have this big, strong, like huge out there dream, like how do you keep on with your conviction to that thing? And it can be tough. And a lot of the reason that people do this is because they only set a goal. I set the goal out there, and the goal might give me the trajectory. I'm almost sure to be wrong in that trajectory, and the goal might be great because I can adjust. But at the same time, I got to keep going towards that goal. So what is it? So we're not going to talk necessarily about goals. We're not going to talk. How do I say that? We're going to talk about goals, but we're going to put them in a way that actually builds a plan around the goal. You can't read that, can you? Around the goal, so that you can get to where you're wanting to go. Because that's the whole thing here. This is like exercise is one of those purple. It's purple day. Exercise is one of those funny things. We want to get a result. We need to get a result from this thing. Okay, but we also need to make it a lifestyle so it just becomes part of what we do, because we don't get out of this thing. And if you want to learn more about this, go to gritgym.com and really sign up for the Move Strong Games. It's gritgym.com/games, Games, and then you can make an event out of the thing. Then you can have a built-in goal to push you towards where you're wanting to go. Grit Gym, the Move Strong Games is a friendly competition with yourself so that you can kind of have an event. You can have built-in pressure. You can have some excitement. Okay, you can have something to take action for to get you to the thing that you want. Okay, so gritgym.com/games. But with goals, the problem with goals is that there's no end date. Okay, you have. Let's redo this. Okay, so we're not going to talk about goals. We are going to make a plan. A plan has where you are today, it has your past, and it has an end date. Okay? You need these. Okay? If you don't have an end date, it's going to be very, very tough to put pressure upon yourself to stay convicted to the thing that you're trying to do. Okay? So you want to have an end date. For the Move Strong Games, it's going to be 4/13. Okay? You've got about 10 days before we're ready for the Move Strong Games. Okay? The Move Strong Games is going to be a really fun time. It's designed for people that cannot afford to get injured, but still want to have a good time doing an activity. Okay? So it's a friendly competition with yourself. So 4/13, Move Strong Games. Go to gritgym.com/games, and you can get signed up there. But you need an end date, whatever it is. Okay? Once we have our goal, then we can make a plan, because then we can set an end date. Okay? With the end date, then we can look at where we're currently starting. Where we're currently starting, we'll be able to make the plan for how to get there. Okay? We need to know our past, because past behavior will indicate future behavior. So you can look at yourself. Okay? You can look at yourself and say, where do I want to be in 10 years? Okay? Well, in 10 years, very, very simple process to do. I did it the hard way. I'm going to give you the easy way right now. So very, very easy process to do. In 10 years, where do you want to be? Okay? Okay? You got that in your head? You got where you want to be? In 10 years, you've got it in your head. I want to be this amount of money. I want to be this body fat percentage. I want to have this level of relationship. I want to have this amount of freedom. I want to have my schedule to look like this. I want to live here. You know, whatever your thing is. Do you have that vision in your head for 10 years from now? Okay? Now look back. Now go to where you are right now and look back 10 years from where you are now. Like, I'm 34 years old. Where do I want to be when I'm 44? Okay, when I'm 44 years old, where do I want to be? I got to get that in my head. Okay, all right. Now I've got to go back. Where was I when I was 24? All right, where was I when I was 24? Now, when you were 24, you can look at your past behavior, and you turn this way, and just start writing down all the things that you could have done better, that you could have capitalized on better when you were 10 years ago. Okay, your past behavior will indicate how your trajectory on how you end up accomplishing the thing that you went for. Okay, this is one of the things with Like, I'm not talking about real depression. I'm talking about like what 99% of people that get depressed do, and they do this thing where they think, oh, I'll scale back and I'll take less activity, when really their depression is just a result of them not doing the activities that would suffice the life and the progress that they wanted to accomplish. So really, like, when you're depressed, you don't need to do less. You need to do much, much more. Okay, so that's one of the things. Like, when you went for the thing in the past, what did you set up as an obstacle, or what was an obstacle that got in your way of getting that thing? Because if you can see the obstacle that got in your way, then you can just step over the obstacle, because it's going to happen now. See, the thing that happened when I was 24, and really I did this process for the first time when I was 27 years old. When I was 27 years old, someone asked my 10-year self what he'd do if he could come back to now and help me with the problem that I was having. Now, the thing with that is that I don't know myself in 10 years. I don't know, at 27 years old, I did not know 37-year-old Adam. I still don't know 37-year-old Adam. However, I was like, okay, well, I'll do that. I had just taken a meditation course, so I went into the meditation. And checking the battery there. I went into the meditation, and I asked myself, and I was like, okay, 10-year self. And weirdly enough, there was like, my mind created this person out there that was 10 years, that was the 37-year-old Adam. And I go, okay, what would you do if you could come back to now? And 37-year-old Adam said, well, what would you have done 10 years ago? And I was like, I'm not asking about 10 years ago when I was 17. I'm asking about 37. What would you do now if you could come back to 27? He kept on asking me the same question over and over again. Finally, 15 minutes later, I come out of my meditation, and I was like, that was weird. But lo and behold, there's a notebook right in front of me. I took out the notebook. I filled about 3 pages full of all the things that I would have done different when I was 17. I would have gotten a strength coach. I would have been more disciplined with my time. I would have eaten better. I would have done, X, Y, Z. All right. The next day, I go into the meditation again. I'm like, I'm going to ask my future self again. I'm not giving up on this guy. So I asked 37-year-old Adam what he'd do if he could come back to 27-year-old Adam. 37-year-old Adam leaned forward, pointed at the notebook on the desk with all the stuff on it, and he goes, "Why don't you do that?" And bam, hit me like a ton of bricks. I'm like, holy shit. I'm doing all the things that I did back then, I'm doing now. All the things that I was all the things that were getting in my way when I was 17 were getting in my way when I was 27. When I was 17, it was sports. When I was 27, it was helping people. Okay? It was influencing people to come into Grit Gym so that I could serve them better. And that was really bugging me at the time. That was my biggest obstacle at 27, was like, how do I get more people to come in and take the opportunity of taking advantage, that's what I was going for, advantage of their health so that they can live their life to the fullest extent that they possibly can. Like, that was my obstacle. I was like, how do I get people in here to teach them all this stuff, all this information that I've accumulated? And it's like, well, you got to start doing the things that you knew you should have done back then. You got to start doing those things today. And so that's what I'm saying. Like, the past behaviors, all the things that you screwed up on, that you let get in your way in the past, they will get in the way of you going to your future end date. So we need a future date. We need to look at the past. Now we've got to assess where we are right now. Okay? And the end date that I'm using for today is a Move Strong Games. So if you want to get signed up for the Move Strong Games, go to gritgym.com/games and get signed up there. It's going to be a really fun time. But so if we want to make a plan, then we've got to know where we are right now. Let's say you're trying to lose 50 pounds. Okay, so we're like, okay, so we're at 200 pounds right now, and we want to get down to 150 pounds. Okay, weight loss is just a really easy one. That means that we need to lose a total of 50 pounds. Let's say that we set a goal for a year from now. So 1 year, that's what is that? That's like 2 pounds a month. Or that's like 4 pounds a month. Okay, so that's like 1 pound a week. Basically, 52. Yeah. Okay, so at 6 months, so we want to be down 50. We'll be down 50 pounds of fat. So at 6 months, we need to be down 25. And at 1 month, we need to be down 24. That's basically 24 divided by 6. It's 4. We need to be down 4 pounds. All right, so then 1 week from now, we need to be down 1 pound. And then you set dates along the way, and you have this future date pulling you forward. It's you out there in kind of limbo of time, pulling yourself forward to the now. Okay, so there's massive power in setting up your end date and making a plan for how to get there. But if you don't set this up and you're like, well, I'm just going to lose as much weight as I possibly can, well, good luck. I've seen people do that over and over and over again. It never works as well as if they sat down, did a little bit of work up front, and figured out, what do I need at halfway point? What do I need 1/4 of the way? What do I need at 1 month? What do I need at 1 week? What do I need to do tomorrow? Because what you do a month from now will be tomorrow at some point. Okay? It will be all the little moments along the way. It will not be like, oh, I'm just going to jump forward to a month. No, like in 29 days, next month will be tomorrow. Okay? Tomorrow will be 29 days, the 30th day after that, tomorrow. Okay, so you get an end date to pull you forward. You don't just set a goal, you also set and make a plan. With a plan, you need an end date. And with the thing that I see the most often with this is that I don't think people fail. Like I very rarely, I don't know if I've ever seen someone fail because they work too hard. People don't fail because they work too hard. People failed because they did not take on the level of expectation for the work, the level of action that they needed to get to where they wanted to go. Okay, so they had in their mind, it's like, okay, well, I'll do this and this and this, and that'll get me X, Y, Z. Okay, well, if you do 1, 2, 3, that gets you X, Y, Z, that's great. But that's not how it goes. You have to do 1, 2, 3, 30, 40, 50, 60, and maybe you get X, Y, Z after doing all that work. It's a failure to realize it's a failure of expectation. Your expectation of how much work it was going to take and how much you were going to get out were this and this. When really it's astronomical amount of work for about this much. And people don't understand that. So like that's where failure comes in. People get depressed because they don't take enough action to get to accomplish the thing that they wanted to do. And then they fail because they did not set the level of expectation for the action they needed to take to push them forward to the thing that they wanted to have. Okay, so that's part of the reason why we did the Move Strong Games. We knew, we were like, all right, well, we're sitting around, we're like, well, we have to help our people get, have an event, have something to be pushing for, have something out there so that they can be excited about, because this thing's tough. You know, like, I'm just now to the point where I don't really have an event or anything anymore. I can just keep on pushing myself just because I don't leave it an option to go work out. But I've been lifting since 1997. That's a pretty decent amount of time, and really I can go back before that because I think I was just playing around with weights before that. I don't think I was actually lifting because I was just harassing the weight set in my grandma's basement. But I've been studying this stuff since 1997. I've been really working hard at this stuff since 1997. That's over 22 years, and I'm just now to the point where I think that I can go without having I don't need to be excited to go work out, is what I'm saying. But we were sitting around, we were like, how do we get people to how do we give people an event that they can be excited about, that they can keep up with their exercise so that they have something to push themselves into? Because when you have an end date and you have an event like the Move Strong Games, and to get signed up for that, go to gritgym.com/movestrong. To have an event like that, it's built-in pressure to make you go to your workout. It's built-in pressure to eat better. It's built-in excitement so that you have something to push for. And that's really what you want with all this stuff. So don't just set a plan, or don't just set a goal. Make a plan. Set an end date to pull you forward, and set targets along the way so that you know where to go. Assess your past and assess where you are now, because your past is going to tell you, your past behaviors will indicate how you do things in the future, and where you are now will decide where to start to get to where you want to go. Okay? You can put about a pound of muscle. You can gain about a pound of muscle in a month. You can lose about a pound of fat in a week. Okay? Strength gains are completely dependent upon the person and their size and their training age and their real age and a lot of other things. But if you're interested in learning more about this stuff, go to gritgym.com and we can and contact us. Schedule a strategy session. Those are just gritgym.com/ss. And we can get on the phone with you, or you can come into Grit Gym if you're local, and we can sit down and we can figure out what's the plan for you. It's just a few tweaks and a few strategies to this thing makes a huge difference. When I did a nutrition consult the other day, and it's amazing how simple it can be. It can be so simple, the thing that is getting in your way, and it can be so simple, the solution that will help you break through it. And we were sitting there and we were talking, and I'm looking over her nutrition journal, and I'm going, well, what's this? And she's like, well, that's my cheat meal. And I'm like, okay, what's this? And she's like, that's another cheat meal, another cheat meal, another cheat meal. She was having like 2 cheat meals a day, and she was trying to do the every 2 to 4 hours thing. And I was like, is this causing more stress than it is helping you? She goes, yeah, it's tremendously stressful to try to go and eat this small meal and then be back in my classroom, and then eat the small meal and be back, and eat the small meal and be back. And I was like, okay, is food prep getting in your way too? She's like, yeah, it's so tough. And I'm like, well, is there any reason why you wouldn't just do breakfast, lunch, and dinner? And she's like, no, I would really like that actually. I'm like, well, would you enjoy your food better? She's like, yes. And I'm like, okay, well, then why don't we just switch to breakfast, lunch, and dinner? And she's like, well, the internet told me to eat every 2 to 4 hours or I'm going to get fat. And I'm like, well, no, that is not the case at all. That is not true. If you really think about, and she was bringing up the intermittent fasting thing. She's like, well, intermittent fasting lets you go from noon to 7 and only gives you 7 hours to eat. And I'm like, yeah, but if you ate 3 times a day, that's about 90 minutes of eating. Okay, 30 minutes, 30 minutes, 30 minutes, 90 minutes of eating. You want 7 hours, you want 90 minutes. Okay. So far, she's down 8 pounds. That was 2 weeks ago. It was not a complicated thing. Sometimes it's so simple. And that person is just like wildly appreciative of that 30 minutes that we took to talk about this. And it's like, man, just eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner. That's what worked for her. Okay? I'm not saying that's going to work for you, but it's something. Sometimes it's that simple. So definitely go to gritgym.com/SS. And that'll get, and you can sign up for a free strategy session there. Otherwise, go to gritgym.com/games and sign up for the MoveStrong games, and then you have a built-in end game. I know that 10 days isn't that far away, but we got to start pushing the promotion on this thing. So if you guys can help us by telling more people about the MoveStrong games, that'd be really helpful. If you've done the MoveStrong games before and you're watching this video, please tell me what you thought of the MoveStrong games down below. And if you're on here right now, can you guys push Team Live, hashtag Team Live? And if you're watching this video later, can you push, type in hashtag Team Replay? I'm going to hop off here in a second. But just to recap real quick, make sure to assess your past. Okay, look at yourself 10 years ago, 20 years ago. How did you approach obstacles? Because think of it, something that you wanted more than anything in the world 10 years ago. Why did you not accomplish that thing? Or what got in your way of not accomplishing that thing, and that will give you an idea of what might get in your way in the future. Assess your now to figure out where you can actually get to. Have an end date with a goal so that then you can work backwards to figure out what are the targets you need to hit along the way, set dates for those. Make a plan, because if you don't think that you deserve to have the goal that you set yourself out for and you only set the goal, you will never get there. And hardly any of us think that we're good enough for the goal that we actually want to have. Okay? We don't think that we deserve it, so we sabotage ourselves from actually having it. But if you thought that you were enough to have it, you probably already have it anyway. So we're setting up something that we're scared of. If we're scared of it, we're probably not going to push to it. If we make a plan, we're much more likely to. So hashtag Team Live for all the people that are live on here right now. This is actually a pretty good one. Thanks, guys. And hashtag Team Replay if you guys are watching it later. But it's gritgym.com/games to sign up for the MoveStrong games. This is a blast last year. I think it's 10 events. You get plenty of rest time in between each one. There's one where we do like a keg toss over the top of the A-frame. There's another one where we do a bear crawl with a foam roller on your back. There's a deadlift challenge that's based on body weight. There's a sled push that's based on body weight also. One of the really cool ones is a shot put where we set up like boards on the sleds, and we're just going to throw medicine balls at the sled as hard as we possibly can to see how far everybody can move their sled. There's a few other events in there too. It's going to be really fun. We're excited, but please go to gritgym.com/games, get signed up there. Otherwise, make your plan, set your goal, and then make the plan from that goal to actually get there. All right, we're out. We'll see you guys tomorrow.